Hello and welcome to a DFS strategy video for the 2023 Fortinet Championship. My name is Eric and here's SweetSpotDFS. It's all about trying to hit the optimal lineup every single week. Now, this is coming out a little late, so I'm going to make this as fast as possible. I'm only going to be going over the bucket system information as well as the marquee tee times. So really the two important things to look at when building lineups. And it's late on a Wednesday night, so I'm sure most of you guys have already built your lineups. But if I can try to persuade you on certain golfers, I'm going to try to do that in this video. And really, it's just going to be the anchor plays, right? Going over the two golfers you want to anchor your lineups around. Maybe I can help change your mind, or maybe not. Or maybe I can help solidify your decisions. Either way, we're going to go quick, 25 minutes or less. If you're unfamiliar with the bucket system, I have a link in the description below that explains all about it. But in this video, I'm not going to be going over the tournament information, the course information, the SweetSpot ranks, or any of the other miscellaneous information like past optimal lineups that I used to in the preview and strategies. Really focusing on making these as quick as possible, especially for the fall swing here. If you're with me in the True Championship, I did talk about how I want to spend more of my time building my database and applying it to a website. I am still committed to doing that. So these, I'm just going to put one video out a week for this whole fall swing. This leads all the way up into Thanksgiving, where the last tournament is played. One video a week. I'm going to try to get them out on Tuesday nights. With it being a new year, or with a new season, I should say. That's why I call it the 2023 Fortinet Championship. Comes a lot of updates that I need to do with the spreadsheets behind the scenes. So it took a little bit of time, plus OBS, where I record these videos through. That had a huge update that messed with everything, so it took me a lot of time to try to fix all that. So that's why it's coming out late on a Wednesday, but going forward, you should see these videos Tuesday night, and again, we're going to make them less than 25 minutes long. It's just going to go over very quick information. Now, a reminder, I do provide a cheat sheet. I'll put that on the screen right now. That is also, there's a link in the description for this. This is free. I'm going to try to update this every single week, Monday night or Tuesday, something like that. So always be on the lookout. Once you have the link, you have the update. Like, this is the site you go to see all of the updated information. So every tournament, I will update this with the new roster of golfers and the new pieces of data. So always be on the lookout for that, because if I don't put a video out until Wednesday night, you still have access to this Tuesday. So hopefully some of you guys saw that. If not, now you know. It's available for you guys. Now, the other thing I want to go over before going into this video is just to remind you guys of giveaways. So if we can get to 500 subscribers by the next PGA tournament event, which I think is in 2 weeks, because I think next week is the President's Cup. That's not really a PGA event. It'll be the one after that. If we can get to 500 subscribers by that time, I'll give away $50. And if you want an entry into this giveaway, you got to be subscribed. Comment down below. If you need a topic, tell me your 2 favorite golfers you're building your lineups around this week, or that you already have. And that gets you a free entry into this giveaway. Again, it's worth $50 only if we reach 500 subscribers within 2 weeks. Now, if we don't, I'm going to shave $10 off of that $50 and rerun this giveaway. All of your entries into this giveaway from this week, I shouldn't say even all of them, you just get one. I'll move those to next week's, or the next time we do a giveaway, if we don't hit the goal. So if you do participate on this channel this week, I'm just going to continue to honor your participation until we do this giveaway. So again, you get more entries that way just by participating on the channel, and that's my way to reward you. Now, if you're interested in playing Prize Picks, I'm not going to do a Prize Picks video this week, but if you haven't signed up yet, I have a link in the description. I'll send you to the sign up page where you can sign up using the promo code SweetSpot. Put $20 in your account. I will give you your $20 back. That way you can play this for free. Plus, Prize Picks will match your deposit. So that 20 turns into 40. It only costs you that sign up information and that initial deposit of $20. But Prize Picks will match your deposit up to $100. So you want more money, do it that way. I'm still giving you $20 back. All right, let's go ahead and let's get into this. We're starting right with the buckets. So let's go over all of that information. Now, if you are new to the channel, again, there is a link in the in the description that explains. It's a video that explains about the bucket system. You basically want to focus on these two columns right here. These two columns basically tell you how many golfers you want to select, like the maximum that you want to select out of these buckets, as well as the minimum. What I like to do is go bucket by bucket, but here's what I'm just going to say. Most of these you want 0 to 2. So when we look at the last year buckets, anyone who topped 20 last year, you want 0 to 2. Anyone who finished 20 to 40, you want 0 to 2. Because remember, we're always rounding up in this column right here. And we're always rounding down in this column. So top 40 finishes, well, let's say top 20, you want 0 to 2 there. 20 to 40 finish, you want 0 to 2 there as well. Anyone in that 40 to 60 range, 0 to 1, not a very successful bucket. Probably stay away from golfers who have those finishes under their belt from last year. Same applies for that 60 to 80 range. Where you're really going to want to find your golfers are those that missed the cut last year as well as did not play. These are the only ones that actually have a minimum projection of 1 or greater. It's not to say that it is for certain that it's going to at least be 1, but you can have more confidence selecting golfers from these two buckets. Now, we're skipping past last week buckets because there wasn't a tournament last week. And if you even use the European Tour or anything like that, I don't look at that. I just look at PGA Tour events. So no last week event, no last week buckets. So we skip straight to course history. There is only one golfer that actually has top 20 course history in this field. I bet you it's probably Hideki. I didn't even look. Let's double check. No, it's not Hideki. Who is it then? John Augenstein. Yeah, okay. So that's probably a bucket we just skip, unless you like John Augenstein. That's fine. 0 to 1. There's only one. So you can kind of ignore that course history bucket. Course history 2s. We have 16 golfers. Here's another one, another column to look at. How many golfers are in that bucket? 16 golfers in that bucket. You want somewhere between 0 to 2, and Hideki Matsuyama is in that bucket. More on him later, because I do like him this week. Course history 3. You want somewhere between 2 to 4. Now, if you remember the columns that I created over here with the miscellaneous information, I kind of have a check, like kind of like a, I don't know if we want to call this like a validation check, but basically this looks at the sweet spot ranks that are in this bucket as well as the strength of field, and it kind of rebalances it. Now, our maximum projection was 4.34, which you'd round up to 5, but the validation check kind of brings it down to 4. Still want to round up with that number. So how this would read then is you want somewhere between 2 to 4 golfers from this course history 3 bucket. Well, there are 54 golfers in that bucket this week, so it's more of a volume driven bucket. Thing is, don't pick more than 4. That's probably a good rule to go with. That eliminates a lot of the field. So you just have to really focus on finding 4 of those golfers, and then that's it. Course history 4 and 5, you want somewhere between 0 to 2 golfers. Looks like there's about 20 golfers in those buckets as well. And then Korn Ferry Tour graduates, or anyone else new coming from the Euro Tour or anything like that. This bucket usually sees 46 golfers on average per year. So every time this event is played, we have new golfers who've never golfed this golf course before. We have 38 of those this week, which is pretty close to those averages. You only want to select 0 to 2. So all of those studs, those Korn Ferry graduates that a lot of people this week have been talking about, don't pick a lot of them. Pick a max of 2, maybe even just 1. Because having some course history at this event is more important than, say, having all the skill in the world. And I shouldn't even say it that way. Having skill obviously matters, but as it shows at this event, you don't want that many golfers that have 0 course history. So let's scroll down to recent form. Now, we had 2 weeks off. Before that was a Tour Championship, then the BMW, then the FedEx St. Jude, Wyndham Championship, and Rocket Mortgage Classic. That is all being included in the recent form for this week. When we look at past tournaments, past Fortinet Championships, Safeway Opens, Fries.com Champion, it's the same tournament, just different names. When we look at all of those dating back to 2013, we can kind of accurately analyze how many golfers to expect from each of those buckets. So when we look at recent form ones, which is your guys that have a top 20 finish over the last 7 weeks, we usually see 4 per year. This year we have 4. Our projection is 0 to 1. We balance that, do validation check. It's actually over 1. So definitely selecting one golfer from this bucket might actually be really important. And just to double check to see who that is, go ahead and put a filter on this and just get ready to talk about all the stuff we need to. Recent form ones: Corey Connors, Trey Mullinax, Andrew Putnam, and Ben Griffin. Personally, I feel more confident playing someone like Corey Connors than I do the rest of those guys at their price points, but I don't know. We'll see. I don't think I can definitively tell you to anchor any of your plays around those guys. It just doesn't feel right. Moving on for recent form 2s, that 20 to 40 range, you want somewhere between 1 to 3 golfers from that bucket. That 40 to 60 range, you want somewhere between 1 to 4 golfers from that bucket. Recent form 4, you want somewhere between 1 to 2. And really that means 0 to 2, not really 1 to 2, 0 to 2. And then the other 2 recent form buckets, that includes golfers who have 0 recent form, which could be your Korn Ferry graduates, or your Euro Tour golfers, and those that have really bad recent form. We want 0 to 1 from each of those golfers, or from each of those buckets. And it pretty much validates, it's validated with our check over here. Not having any recent form over the last 6 weeks, not super great. So maybe we just stay away from the Korn Ferry graduates this week. So if you do have someone in your lineup already, maybe you want to sub them out. And then when it comes to salaries, just to go over this really quick, it looks like it's 0 to 2 for most of these buckets. I think I'd be pretty confident saying 0 to 2 for all of them, except for your 7Ks, you want somewhere between 1 to 4. And probably 1 to 3, for being quite honest. Yeah, the check would tell you 1 to 3. And then strokes gained buckets, obviously I do this different. Check out that strokes gained video in the description below if you want to understand what these strokes gained stats mean. Basically, you want 0 to 2 for most of these buckets, except for strokes gained 1 and strokes gained 6. And then strokes gained 3, you want somewhere between 2 to 4, but I bet you that goes down. It's still 2 to 4. So yeah, with all that being said, what I would then do is just look at, I just filter by condition. By the way, guys, I forgot to mention this. You can follow along with me on the cheat sheet. All of this is available to you guys. Just make a copy of the cheat sheet. You can follow along with me because I do have the bucket system information here. So everything that I just went over, you guys could have went over as well. My apologies for not bringing that up a little early, a little rusty. Been a couple weeks. Anyways, I'd go into the minimum projections and go greater than or equal to 1. And that limits a lot of the buckets. Now from here, I'd actually go greater than or equal to 2. Because this at least tells us we want, because if it's like 2 or less, I think 0 is the right minimum projection. So when it's 2 or more, now we actually have your anchor buckets you really want to select from. And guess what? Pick one golfer who missed the cut last week. Pick one golfer who did not play, or not last week, I'm sorry. We don't do last week buckets for this event. One golfer who missed the cut from last year. Another one who didn't play, but has course history, most likely. Because this is such a big bucket to choose from. We already went over the course history 6s. Those are golfers who have no course history at this event. You only wanted 0 to 1 of those guys. So with that being said, if you want to select somewhere between 2 to 4 golfers who did not play last year, that means most of those guys have course history. So I would select those guys. And then recent form 2 and 3, you want 1 to 3 for each of those. You can almost get away with 1 to 4 golfers who have that 40 to 60 range, which means bad course or bad recent form, pretty darn close to bad recent form. Let's put it this way, not good recent form, but you know, those that missed cuts and stuff, and this is within the last 7 weeks. So missed cuts, maybe some top 20s, maybe some top 30s. But on average over the last 7 weeks, you want that 40 to 60 range for your recent form. All right, so cruising on to the next piece, we're gonna go over the marquee tee times, which you can sort by group rank. And basically what I do is I look at the top 7 groups of the event, or top 6 groups really, of the event, and I try to find 2 to 4 golfers I want to anchor my lineups around. I usually just stick with 2 because it's easier to do that. When I've kept track of this, dating almost 70 weeks ago, so since 70 weeks ago till now, keeping track of this, I've seen at least 2 golfers from the marquee tee times in the optimal lineup. I think 65 out of 70 weeks. So there's 5 weeks where we either had 1 or less, but most of them we've seen at least 2. So therefore, I'm confident in telling you want at least 2 golfers from the groups that I just highlighted. And the rule is you don't select 2 golfers from the same group. So if you like Hideki Matsuyama, kind of like I do this week, you don't select Corey Connors or Cameron Davis in your lineups. And Davis is an easy one to kind of transition to because he's $9,600. I would just stick with one of these guys and mix it in with one of the other groups down here, or one of the other golfers in the groups down here. I personally am really intrigued with going Hideki Matsuyama, Taylor Pendrith, or Matsuyama, Davis Riley. I really like that. Now, Davis Riley actually fits that course history rank of that course history 5 bucket, meaning he has course history, but it's a missed cut. It's not a bad thing. Maybe you just want one of those guys. So I don't mind Davis Riley this week. I think a lot of people are going to be on Taylor Pendrith, and for good reason. I like Taylor Pendrith this week as well. 9,800 is pretty solid. And he does have course history here, so that's also a good thing. It's weird that I don't have Jason Day having course history. My course history goes back to 2013, so he would have had to have played an event anytime in there at the Fortinet Championship, or whatever name you want to call it, Safeway Open, Prize.com. I don't have him a single time. So he must not be a regular at this event. He probably played it before that, but I just don't have that data. Anyways, my 2 picks that I'm thinking of, I mean, I really like Taylor Pendrith this week, but he's in a really good group with Sahith Theegala, Taylor, and Davis Riley. So that's a hard one to pick from. This is a really good group of golfers to choose from, and I'm only going to select one because I firmly believe in the sweet spot process. So I think I go with Taylor Pendrith, and I don't mind pairing him up with Matsuyama, Connors, or Cameron Davis, because the rest of these guys down here, I'm not really sure I care all that much about. Like, none of them really kind of present themselves in a better light than another. I mean, Jason Day just has better historic stats because he was once really good and now he's not. Most of that has to do with his back, so don't get that twisted, literally and figuratively. Other than that, I mean, like, Ches Reavie seems decent. Simpson and Woodland actually seem pretty decent to use as well. Both have pretty decent POA stats as well as bent grass stats, which is what this golf course is. Ooh, Taylor Pendrith just looking way too good. Sahith Theegala, not so great on POA. That's like a Matsuyama, Theegala, or Pendrith lineup. It's expensive, but this is kind of a weak field. Strength of field is 146. Again, I know how to record this. You're interested, what you do is you take the current OWGR. There is a a point, like a value system based off of what rank a golfer is. Really, you get points for being inside the top 100, and that's it. Like first place, I think gets like 45, or someone who is, what would you call it? Number 1 overall, OWGR, gets like 45 points towards an event. Whatever event that person's in, they bring 45 points with them to that event, and that's what gets added to the strength of field. I think if you're within 50th to 100th place, it's 1 point for any of those places. So if you've got golfers within that ranking, 50 to 100, they're bringing 1 point towards the strength of field with it. And then it just tiers from there. It's just like DraftKings placement points. Pretty darn close. And then you also take the FedEx Cup rankings. Now, this T11, I need to fix that because we don't want any T's. I don't think this gets properly updated with the formulas that I provide. But anyways, so this also has its own value system. And then because this is a FedEx Cup, like all these PGA Tour events are part of the FedEx Cup, this is like a home field event. So people who are in the top 10 of the FedEx rankings from last year, by the way, this is all last year. So Rory's number 1, he was the top guy, and then it goes from there. So if Rory was in an event, he's not only bringing, because he's second in the OWGR, so that's like 40 points. He's bringing 40 points with him from OWGR, plus he's bringing like 10 points from the FedEx Cup with him to add 50 to the strength of field of it. I don't do the home field advantage, like all the bonuses that come with that. It's very little. All you need to know is my strength of field has always been within 7 points of what the original OWGR used to be. So we can just call this the sweet spot strength of field rating or something like that. All my ratings are going to be very consistent with each other because I calculate it every single event. I don't just copy it down from the OWGR. Sometimes I can't wait that long for the OWGR to update theirs, so I found a way to calculate it. That's how I got to OWGR. And with that being said, I'm just going to end this video because that's all that I wanted to provide. Check out the cheat sheet if you want more information. It's 8 o'clock, so I don't know if you're going to see this in time, but just to remind you guys, giveaways, $50 I'm giving away if we can get to 500 subscribers within the next 2 weeks. And if you want an entry, you got to comment down below. You also have to be subscribed to this channel. I think that goes without saying, but I like to reward those that participate on the channel. If we don't hit the goal of 500 subscribers, I'll rerun the giveaway that following week, whatever that will be for the next tournament. It'll be worth $40 then, but your entry from this week will go towards that week, and then you can get a new entry that week as well. So you'll have 2 going into that giveaway. And then if we don't hit that one as well, we'll shave it down to $30 and go to the next week, so on and so forth. So you can accumulate, several different entries to win money. And it's just me rewarding you guys for participating. Also, Prize Picks, if you're not signed up, link in the description to go sign up. I'll give you $20 if you sign up using the promo code SweetSpot and putting $20 in your account. That way you get to play it for free. They'll match your deposit up to $100. So take advantage of whatever amount of money you want to put in. You'll still get $20 from me as long as you put at least $20 in your account. And that's it. That's all I have. So thank you guys for watching. Please leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll see you in the next one. All right, bye.